Hello everybody, this is Alex Cakes of Span Cake, and here with me today I have Seniors World Champion Toler Webb. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, thank you, Alex.
It's nice to have you here. To be in the grace of World Champion is something I really can't describe. But let's get started.
I suppose special.
Well, let's talk about your VGC history and how you got to this point, where you started from. Let's see, when did you first play VGC?
The first time I ever tried to play VGC was in 2008 when I was technically given an invite to the New York Regional for the junior division. That year I definitely could not fly out to New York, especially, like, my mom was trying to, but she couldn't ensure that it was actually real. So she didn't decide to go, we didn't decide to go collectively, and then I still made a kind of team. I still tried to experiment with concepts of team building, but it really was, like, there was a special slacking on the team. That was pretty special. But then, going 2009, I had a little bit better. I know I was experimenting with Water Pulse Aggron before the actual event, but we went up to Philadelphia, which was a little bit more reasonable, and I went and competed in the regional there. I was actually accepted into the lottery. And I played and got to round 3 and lost to Flying Salamence and Exploding Metagross.
Classic.
Oh no, for juniors, yes.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting, and it really sparked my passion going into VGC the next years.
Very cool. So, it's 2012 now. That was 2009. There's a little bit of a period before that. How much did you play? How much did you practice? Tell us about your results then.
I actually played every year, coming from 2009. 2010 was when I joined Skarmbless and when I started to actually practice, and that wasn't even that much. I was making a team, and the most challenging part of that was getting everything for the team, which is so different now. I mean, in the 2 years, it used to be a challenge to get all of the stuff for your team, because our team was harder than 4th gen and Pokecheck didn't exist. But I did pretty well. I mean, I didn't get to go to a regional. I went to the Nationals last chance qualifier and got to the 4th round, where I lost to a double blizzard miss because I misplayed. I misplayed not pulling in my Abomasnow last. His team would have been swept by Kyogre if I had brought it in at the right point. But, you know, what can you do? You're 12 and you're at a large convention center. So, yeah, and then in 2011, I went to the Chantilly Regionals, and I lost to Talon there in a good game.
Nice. Well, 2012 definitely seemed to be your year. You started off with an impressive regional performance, finishing in the top 4.
Yeah, I finished 4th with with my regionals team, which consisted of Mamoswine.
Mamoswine's so strong.
Mamoswine is so strong. No. Mamoswine, Rotom Wash, Latios, Metagross, Cresselia, and Hitmontop, I believe.
Very nice. And then you took that momentum, rode it to Nationals, climbed the hill. You know, Nationals was really competitive this year.
Yeah.
You had that open tournament format where you had seemed like endless amount of people waiting in line to compete. What did you bring to Nationals, and what helped you do well there?
At Nationals, basically, it was not quite the momentous occasion in terms of momentum that Alex was mentioning. It was more like I was trying to go up a hill, go down the hill, go up a hill, go down the hill again, because I couldn't come up with a team, and I would basically just change teams almost every day, almost every week, going into it, because I had no idea what I was going to use. And so I decided on using my regionals team for Nationals, because I felt like I was most comfortable with it, and it was the only team I had at the moment that was going to work well. So, yeah, we went to Nationals. It's pretty fun. I placed 3rd, for those of you who didn't know, but it was definitely challenging in the sense that it was very nerve-wracking, and I had opponents that would be considered kind of challenging, and I had opponents that had teams that were actually really scaring me.
Very cool. Well, we're here to focus about your World Tournament. So, God, I don't even know where to get started. The metagame changed so much from Nationals into Worlds. You saw the rise of Swagger, which is completely obnoxious, but
I agree.
How did you prepare for Worlds and the changing metagame?
Initially when I built my team, I was thinking about countering Swagger, countering Trick Room, countering Weather, countering everything with a team, and that was simply put not going to work. It wasn't going to fit my playstyle. There's no team. I mean, there probably is a team that would counter every strategy, but then that team could still lose to stuff that didn't really have a strategy, because you're devoting so much energy inside of the team into countering strategies, which is kind of weird, but you know. And then going into that, for the weeks that we had coming into Worlds, it was a month and a week, it wasn't a lot of time. But the weeks that we had going into Worlds, I was basically panicking and trying to make a team because I felt like I didn't have enough time. And eventually I settled on a team that more fit my play style, in that I'm a really aggressive player. I like to get stuff off the field before it does stuff to me, which can really bite me sometimes. But it was obviously very effective going into Worlds. I used a really aggressive team with aggressive synergy, not really defensive synergy. And that could have really hurt me. It really hurt me in my match against Snake, Henry Maxson, where he had more powerful and faster things than I had, and I didn't have anything to switch in, and it felt like I was playing a game where I tried to get rid of what he had before he got rid of what I had to beat what he had. And that was a really challenging game in that sense.
Mm-hmm. And tell us a little bit about your team. I know you're going to publish an article out there, which everybody should check out, but you had some very cool sets. You had a team that was actually surprisingly similar to Ray Rizzo. Tell us about it.
I mean, not in the sense of the sets, but the actual mon choices were pretty similar. We had, kind of. We had 4 of the mons that were the same, but my team was probably less creative, less swagger-based, because I didn't have any swagger. My team essentially focused around, again, that offensive concept of getting rid of stuff before it hurts you. There were ways to OHKO a lot of different things in the meta, just based on, I was using Helping Hand Cresselia, which would allow me to boost the power of my even already powerful guys, potentially with Hydreigon, OHKOing Cresselia, with Dark Gem, Dark Pulse. Then Garchomp had Swords Dance. Garchomp had Swords Dance, which only helped me in one match. It was against King of Kongs, and since his team was slow and I felt like I could shut out his TR users, and I had, I guess I had psyched him out a little today before, because when he did play his TR users, he lost really badly. He didn't use both of them, though. So he couldn't use either TR user he felt, so I just basically beat him from there, because everything was slower than what I had, so I went to town with powerful attacks, and I woke up kind of early from a Spore with Garchomp and got a Swords Dance off, and that game was over.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is the most unusual set, the most creative thing you went into Worlds with?
I mean, I don't feel like I went with anything really creative. I don't feel like I'm that creative with Pokemon. It's just my feelings on myself. But I think the most creative was an idea that Dr. Fidget gave me because I was having trouble with rain teams. And I didn't want to use Anorith. So he said, okay, you should use Sunny Day, Swiftswim, and Ludicolo. So my Ludicolo was Sunny Day, Scald, Giga Drain, and Ice Beam. Because I felt like I definitely needed Scald. Although initially I had thought Hydro Pump because I didn't want Protect, it wasn't helping me. So I didn't want Hydro Pump, I wanted Scald. Because that wasn't going to miss. So I didn't actually use Scald more than once or twice in the actual tournament. But Ludicolo was a boon to me in my final match and in I believe my third match. I think it was really helpful in that it was extremely bulky and that I didn't actually use Sunny Day either. But it was extremely bulky. It took hits really well, and nobody was really prepared for its bulkiness.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, give us. You made the finals, and the Masters final was streaming live, and unfortunately, everybody else didn't really get to see your final.
Yeah.
Just give us a brief recap how things went.
Yeah, and if you actually want to see the whole final, you can see it on Cedar DS's channel. He's a Japanese player. He filmed the entire thing. It was very kind of him. Not sure if Alex knew that. He filmed the entire thing. It's very kind of him. But my final, wow. Playing against Jaime, I was really nervous going into the first and second rounds because I won one round and I didn't feel like I understood how he was going to play necessarily in following rounds. So I went into the second round a little bit nervous and I misclicked the Trick Room. It was potentially useful, but in the end it didn't help me. And when I needed to have my Cresselia die, it didn't die. And that was, basically I would have been in a really good position if Cresselia had died. But, essentially it was really good second game, and then game 3, I felt like, I mean, this is no offense to him, I felt like I just outplayed him most every turn, and that was, once I got the momentum going, it felt like I just kept going, and it was really easy from there.
Mm-hmm. Well, you are a strong trainer. Having played against you, I know that you use your mind pretty well, have some solid logic.
I can only hope so.
Well, let's look forward a bit. We have VGC 2013. Regionals are around the corner. Fortunately, we live in North Carolina. It's a great state, by the way, but we don't have regional.
Visit.
You should. We have lots of things here. We have
nothing.
But we do not have a regional for the fall. We do have regionals for the
spring and winter.
Right.
Those aren't even in our state. We can go and visit. We can go and visit Virginia and Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you plan on participating? How are you going to tackle the new metagame, which we don't know yet?
I'm definitely going to be participating, but I feel like at Virginia it's going to be a really, really hard regional, because I know quite a few people are coming, but I feel like Athens is probably going to be challenging too. I've never been in Masters, so I definitely need to go to both regionals to kind of understand how they'll play compared to how a senior plays. Because in seniors, most of your opponents will make pretty standard predictions, and it's hard to play around play around with your predictions and make more mind game plays, unless you're playing someone who has advanced a little bit more practice in the game, which was how it was at Worlds. So really with Masters, I have to get a feel for how people play first in regionals, and I know I play against Masters a lot anyways. It's always fun. But I mean, really, I want to get a feel for how everything works and try to get a trip to Nationals, because otherwise I might not be able to go.
Very cool, very cool. Well, I really appreciate you having here. I have a couple fun questions to end it off. Favorite Pokemon?
It's not Mudkip.
Oh, it's not Mudkip, okay.
My favorites are probably Dragonair and Feraligatr.
Okay.
I put Dragonite as my favorite for now. I need to make a team with him. But I really like Feraligatr if I'm gonna pick something that I just like.
Yeah, Feraligatr is a pretty cool Pokemon. I mean, everybody knows Foongus here is a top quality Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you
top
agree.
Percentage.
Yep. Any shout outs you want to give?
Thanks Dr. Fidget for helping with my team. Thanks Crow. Thanks you. This person over here.
Yeah, I'm
for
just the best.
Just being encouraging and whatnot. Thanks to all of the seniors, because they're chill people and I like talking to them. Thanks to Ben 7000, definitely. I had a Mon nicknamed after him that I'm really sad didn't get. Ben 7000 or Nightblade. I believe he's Nightblade 7000 on Nugget Bridge.
Nugget Bridge? Woo! Everybody should check that out, by the way, if you haven't seen Nugget Bridge. Even though you're probably watching on Nugget Bridge, check out Nugget Bridge.
But thanks to him for also being a confidence booster, despite him being in Bulgaria in camp for the majority of the time I was preparing for Worlds. Very unkind now. And yeah, thanks to really everyone who plays VGC. You guys are all awesome. I love talking to you.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. Peace out.